There is a lot to unpack here. It's just a lot. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about a lot of things here. Please try and keep up. This is really important. If you're a viewer of content on the internet, this is politics that directly affects you. It definitely affects me as a content creator on the internet. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the worst pieces of legislation ever created, the DMCA, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Now, it isn't wholly wrong. People should be able to strike down offensive content that steals their content. If somebody steals my videos, re-uploads them to the internet completely unedited, and says, yes, this is my content now. No, I should be able to get that taken down. I should be able to protect my copyright. And that's what the DMCA was created for. Unfortunately, the DMCA was created in an archaic way that massively benefits the industries that paid to have it made and written in the way it's written, and is abused primarily by the most evil industry on the planet, the music industry. But that's not enough. Taking down people's channels for playing 3-second clips of music or having music in a video game they're playing that does not compete with the original artist in any way, shape, or form, and they have it taken down and they fight that artist. And the creators, if you get 3 of these strikes, you lose your channel, you lose your livelihood. At the moment, the worst thing that can happen off of any individual strike is a misdemeanor charge. But overall, it's already a heavily abused system that needs to be torn apart, rewritten, and done again, because you should be able to protect copyright when it's blatant monetization of your things, but you should not be able to say, oh, you used a 2.5-second clip of this song in a 4-hour live stream. We're striking your live stream. We're taking a bunch of money from that, and 2 more of those, and you lose your livelihood. It just doesn't make sense. Instead of reworking this law and doing the sensible thing of saying, okay, this is being abused, we need to fix it, the music industry, via money, has managed to worm its way. It lubricated the hole with some money first, and then it's worked its arm all the way up the anus of the puppet made of scrotum skin, Thom Tillis, the senator for North Carolina, the Republican senator for North Carolina, and he is currently attaching a bill to an omnipack. Now, I'm going to explain what an omnipack is quickly. An omnipack is a bill in American government that basically sorts out a bunch of shit that really needs to be sorted out to keep the government running, funding of schools, and how we're going to do food inspections, and, you know, all that boring stuff. And it all goes into an omnipack bill, and they pass it, and that just keeps the government running for another year or 2 years, or however long they provision that omnipack for. And sometimes people like to sneak little unrelated bullshit into omnipacks in order to be like, well, you can't object to that, because if you do, the whole government's gonna shut down. Ooh. And they do this to get controversial horseshit passed for industries like the music industry that are paying them. So Thom Tillis is being paid by the music industry, not even that much money. I mean, he is taking it up the rear for $100,000, although that's what we know of. I'm sure he's getting backhanders under the table. I mean, previously he's been found to have 81% of his election donations from outside sources be from dark money. For those of you who don't know what dark money is, it's when people donate to non-profit organizations that don't have to disclose their donators, and then those non-profit organizations donate to political campaigns to sort of hide the money, because the middleman doesn't have to disclose the donation money, so then they can donate as much as they like and doesn't have to be disclosed, and 81% of his money came from dark money. So don't be fooled. He is getting paid a lot more than this 100,000, but from the public point of view, he's just taking it up the arse for $100,000, and I think that's much funnier to phrase it that way. So this just absolute reprobate, this pile of human garbage, is attaching this bill that would make it a felony offense to get a DMCA strike. You can get prison time if you use 3 seconds of content. You play Cyberpunk 2077, oh, you put it on the DMCA no music mode, oh shit, the 3 songs they left in, oh, that's too bad, dude. Enjoy jail time. You're sitting in jail, so what did you do? Oh, I killed a dude. What did you do? Oh, I streamed Cyberpunk 2077. It makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. This would cripple the creative industry. We're already afraid enough that a 10-second clip from somewhere or other is going to end our livelihood, and now they're like, oh no, we want to throw you in prison too. Now, I'm British, right? And so American law, misdemeanor, doesn't matter to me. I'm not going to be arrested. I'm not going to be thrown away for a DMCA strike, but it's going to make people way stricter. It's going to make this mess, this absolute mess, way worse. And I want you guys to know that this is passing soon. You need to get in contact with your local representative and say it's unacceptable. You need to be making a noise. You need to be making the hashtag stop DMCA everywhere, because this needs a huge public outsurgence to just not make people go, oh, we'll just let it pass, because there's not enough of outcry. We're just going to let that go so that we can get this Omnipack passed. You know, we need the Omnipack passed, and we're going to do it. Thom Tillis obviously is a horrible human being. Back in his political days, he was writing legislation deliberately to suppress black voters. He even requested data on photo ownership by race. Like, he requested the data by race so that he could then word the legislation in a way that the Fourth Circuit Court of Appeals that struck down this legislation described it unanimously as that it targets African Americans with almost surgical precision. So this guy's a racist, vote-suppressing, donation-taking, will do whatever you want him to do for money, just garbage human being sitting on the US Senate. And, you know, there should be outcry against Thom Tillis and how horrible of a person he is, because he really is genuinely awful. You look at his political history, he's awful. He's just horrible. But he's also doing this right now. Right now, he is trying to make it so that the DMCA is getting a strike, getting hit by the DMCA, which is already a nightmare. I've been hit twice, I think, ever. Once on Twitch, once on YouTube, and I had to fight it. One time I actually won. But just horrible person. I'd be in prison right now. If this law had passed and I was American, I could be in prison. Felony offense. Boom, go to jail. It just makes no sense. It makes no sense. You know, this is the kind of guy who he'd kick a baby down the stairs for $10. He really would. I think the fact that he is doing this because he's getting paid is ridiculous. The fact that that is allowed is ridiculous. The fact that the music industry the fact that lobbying is allowed, that an industry can go, we will give you this much money to pass a law. It's wrong. It is wrong. It is fundamentally wrong. It is fundamentally broken. But this particular one is attacking me. It's attacking content creators. It's attacking all of us. It's attacking anybody who actually enjoys using the internet. Anybody who actually enjoys content on the internet. You can't post a meme to Twitter with DMCA-able content anymore, because before that would get deleted. The tweet would get deleted and you'd be like, oh, whatever. Now, tweet gets deleted and you're going to jail. And it might not work exactly like that. In fact, it probably won't work exactly like that. It would be more severe offenses that music industry decides they want to push to that point. But why are we giving this horrible industry that mistreats artists? How many musical artists have spoken out against this industry? It mistreats artists. It mistreats the public. It abuses legislation. It goes after people for no reason. And now we're going to let them make it a law so that they can put people in prison. If they had their way, they'd be like, oh yeah, it's a capital offense, execute them. Ship them to Texas, put them in a chair, turn it on, boom. How dare you? How dare you play Justin Bieber on your stream for 8 seconds? You are a horrible criminal. And that's the way they treat it. That's the way they do it. It's why the old industry, the old media is failing. This is why Spotify is blowing up and nobody's really buying albums anymore. And the music industry is collapsing. Like, traditional music industry is collapsing. And this is their vengeance on the way out, I guess. I just wanted to talk about this, guys. Please do use the hashtags. Please do make a fuss. If you can, call your local representatives. Government starts on a local level. If you bug your local representatives, and enough of you bug your local representatives, they will bug the people above them, and they will bug the people above them. Ring your local representative. Tell them you do not want this. Tell them you think this is ridiculous and that it is abusive, and tell them that it should be fixed, because that is the only way. Kicking up a fuss is the only way to make a difference in politics, other than voting, of course. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's not my usual content, but I feel like it's something that needed to be discussed. There will be a lot more links in the description with more information in more detail if you want to go and read about this, if you want to make sure that I've got my facts straight, if you want to make sure that I'm not being ridiculous, and actually it should be the fact. Please do your own research. I really do want to encourage people, even when I'm doing a scientific video and I say, I'm Mr. Scientist and I'm in a lab coat and blah, blah, blah. The reason I do that, the reason I do the lab coat for the science videos, the reason I'm doing a suit with actually quite a lovely, well, I'm not sure if the floral print will show up on camera, but it really is quite lovely on the shirt. The reason I'm wearing a suit to do political videos is to make the point that dressing the part doesn't mean you are the part, right? Like, you can wear a lab coat, doesn't make you a scientist. You can wear a suit, doesn't make you a politician or a political commentator. I want you guys to do your own research. I want to assist that by giving you my take and what I've found and what I've researched. But you guys can find out. I'm sure you can find way more evidence of Thom Tillis just being Gollum in a suit, just walking around being a horrible human being. And I'm sure you can find a lot more evidence about how the DMCA has been abused, how many creators have been hit by it. There's a lot of information out there. I do encourage you to go and look for it yourselves. Draw your own conclusions. This is my conclusion, that this is horrible and Thom Tillis is an awful human being who should be, you know, just put out of the house. He should be banished into the wasteland as far as I'm concerned. So, like, he really should be gone. But that's my opinion. You guys have your own opinions, and I'd love you to share them in the comments down below. But please make sure if you're sharing your opinion that you back it up with facts. Thank you so much. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.